Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. Well, I'm hoping this is just going to be a quick video, something I've been meaning to approach for quite a while, and it's just a matter of getting around to it. And that is the mentality that any one herb or substance can be a cure-all for everything, and also that if you have any negative effects of taking any herb or other such, that just simply means that you're detoxing. So let's tackle the cure-all idea first. Now, one of the things that has come up most recently is castor oil. And people are constantly going on about the many great benefits of castor oil. And I have 3 videos on castor oil, actually a 4th if you count one of my this and that videos where I was talking about using it in my dog's eye when he had an infection. And yes, I used it directly in his eye and it cured up his eye infection just like that. Now, I've tried castor oil for many other things that people say, oh, it's good for this, that, and the other thing, and it hasn't helped me for those particular things, but I do like it for many other things. However, the important thing to know about castor oil is that it's one of those that people can be highly allergic to. So if you go to use castor oil and you have any kind of swelling or rash, you need to stop using it immediately because you're very likely having an allergic reaction. I'm only going to just mention a few as examples, but some other things would be diatomaceous earth, lemon balm, and mullein. And there's a reason why I picked these specific ones to talk about. So mullein and lemon balm. These herbs, though, yes, they're great, and yes, I use them, I would not ever use them on a daily basis for myself, whether it be in teas or capsules or tinctures. I do use them for teas, I just don't use them daily, and the reason I won't is because anyone who has followed me for any length of time knows that years ago, Patrick and I both were on thyroid medications, and we were on them for 15 years until I finally decided it was time to put my foot down and find a better way to go about things. And no, I don't take a natural medicine for my thyroid. I just found ways to help my thyroid, our thyroids, to heal themselves and do away with the medication altogether. And that was back in 2012-ish, somewhere around in there. So yeah, that would be 2012, because I think I should be 12 years now that we've been off of the medication. And with that in mind, when it comes to any herb or vegetable like horseradish or any other cruciferous vegetable, I watch my intake of such things, unless with the cruciferous, as long as they're well cooked, it's not a problem. But raw cruciferous vegetables, mullein and lemon balm can actually slow the thyroid. So the medications we were on were for hypothyroidism. So obviously adding herbs and foods that help to give our thyroid a boost was beneficial. So if you're one of those that's on thyroid medication or trying to go off your thyroid medication and you don't want to do anything that's going to actually slow your thyroid down even more, then it can be safe to use mullein and lemon balm as long as you're not using it as a cure-all for everything and taking it every single day. So I spread the use of these out. Mostly I like the lemon balm just for the sake of the flavor and using to make an infused water in the summertime, a cold infusion, or for a hot tea in the wintertime. And of course, then I use it dry, but when I use it as a cold infusion, I'm using fresh lemon balm. But again, not every single day, maybe once a week at the very most. Same thing goes with mullein. I only use this maybe once a week, even though it has so many great benefits, which by the way, I do have videos on all of these things that I'm talking about here, where I talk about the benefits plus many other herbs and more. I'll link to that full playlist in the description box down below. So it's good to learn about these things. But yes, mullein just is great. I'm growing mullein because of its many great benefits. However, no, because of wanting to keep my thyroid healthy and not wanting to worry about it slowing back down again, I don't use this on a daily basis, and I won't. The diatomaceous earth. I did a video on this and I shared my own experience. So I've been taking diatomaceous earth off and on for years. In that video that I shot, it's been at least a year, maybe almost 2 years ago. At that time, I I had been taking it every day, and I was taking over a teaspoon, I think, per day. And after about 2 weeks, I noticed a really odd smell to my urine, and it kind of concerned me because I'd never experienced that before. And I suspected, because of the type of smell it was, that I was probably overdoing it on the diatomaceous earth. So I quit taking it. The smell went away. Then after several months or a year, I started taking it on a daily basis again, and that didn't happen again, though I kept the amount small, and I do take a break from it every so often. Well, because of that video, a lot of people just came in and they just make a statement as if it has to be true that, well, that's because you were detoxing. Well, there's a chance that I could have been, because it only happened that one time, even though I've taken diatomaceous earth on a daily basis before and have taken it on a daily basis since without those same reactions. And it could have been maybe something else I was taking with it that was causing that. But that's going to bring me to the second point when it comes to detox effects. There's a common phrase that's used that's called Herxheimer effect, but people just kind of throw that around for everything without fully understanding what it's about. And I recommend you look it up and understand what it really means. However, when you start taking any kind of natural remedy of any kind, doesn't matter what it is, and you start having negative reactions such as rashes, nausea, vomiting, maybe an odd urine smell, anything that you know is completely out of the ordinary, don't fall for that assumption that it must be that your body's detoxifying and you need to keep doing that. How do you know that for certain? You don't know that. A lot of these symptoms, diarrhea, vomiting, rashes, and more, means that there's something your body's trying to get rid of. So yes, it's trying to detox, but how do you know it's not trying to detox from all the natural remedies that you're using? You might be overdoing it, and you're going to be a lot more safe stopping it for a period of time and seeing if those symptoms go away, and then try taking it again, because it may or may not be related. But to keep taking something when you're not feeling good after you've been taking it, I don't care what other people are saying. I absolutely 100% do not agree with doing that. Anytime you have negative effects, you need to stop taking it, give yourself a break, and then try it again and see if the same symptoms come back. Because here's the deal. Not everything is good for everyone. Just like I was talking about with the castor oil, some people are highly allergic to castor bean, and using oil in any form, internally or externally, can cause some pretty severe reactions. You need to stop taking it. Like, a lot of people will use it on their eyes to help with very many things, any kind of eye problem, to help with eyelash growth, to help them sleep. But there was one lady that shared with me that she did that, because everybody was talking about it. So she did that, and she woke up, and the next day, because you put it on before you go to bed, and her eyes were just very, very swollen and sore and inflamed. And so obviously that was a negative reaction. So that means you need to not use it. It's not for you. The reason I brought the horsetail out is in regards to the bentonite clay or the diatomaceous earth. I would never use these two together, because just like anything, you can overdo it. I don't care what people say. I had a lady say, oh, you can't overdo it on diatomaceous earth. Well, yes, you can. One of the key things that makes up diatomaceous earth is the silica. And silica is also high in horsetail. It's real bad for the lungs if you're breathing it in. And so when you're working with horsetail, you have to be careful, when it's dry, because that just makes a powder that it just goes everywhere. So once it's dry, you need to put on some kind of face mask or something that will prevent you from inhaling the powder on there, because that is silica. So let's say I'm drinking a lot of horsetail tea and taking this. That is definitely overdoing it on the amount of silica. Now, the amount that's going to be safe for each person is going to depend on the person, because everybody is different, and this is so important to understand. So just because somebody is drinking, let's say, comfrey tea every single day, the thing I like about that is it shows that you can take comfrey leaves and make tea, and it is safe despite all the fear-mongering and scare tactics. But just because this person is doing it daily doesn't mean you should do it daily, or maybe even at all, maybe you should stay away from taking comfrey, at least internally. And you can't assume just because something is working for one person that it's going to work for you. And yes, any herb, no matter how safe it is, can be overdone. So here's an example I like to give quite often, is peppermint. I love peppermint. I use peppermint essential oil for a lot of things. I use it in my homemade tooth powder. I just use it in a lot of things. I even use it when I'm making my peppermint patties. And we drink a lot of peppermint tea. However, what I've discovered is if I'm drinking a lot of peppermint tea and I make a batch of peppermint patties or peppermint chocolate bark, and then I'm using peppermint in other ways, that I start to have stomach problems. It starts to bother my stomach. I'm talking specifically about using it internally. And I can tell I've had too much peppermint because it's not severe, but the thing is with peppermint, even as safe as it is, too much of it can really disrupt your gut flora. And if you start having problems with your digestion, that's a good sign that your gut flora has been disrupted and you need to stop taking it, or at least give your body a break and start using it in less amounts and see how that works for you. Your body gives you these signals for a reason. So you shouldn't be listening to this whole, and assuming every negative reaction to anything is a sign of detox. It shouldn't be like that. It is your body telling you need to stop whatever it is you're doing and do something else. Now, I do have a couple other things I wanted to bring up that I didn't bring out here. And that'd be something like taking vitamin D supplements, because the push for taking vitamin D supplements. And yes, a lot of people, especially us who live in dark, rainy areas like I do, that it's just dark all the time, we don't get as much sun as somebody else. People who are getting a lot of sun all the time probably don't need to take vitamin D supplements at all and shouldn't. But those of us who live in northern areas that don't get a lot of sun, we might need to take vitamin D supplements. Or better yet, find more foods that we can add to our diet that are already naturally high in vitamin D, because that means it's also going to have the other appropriate supplements with it, such as K2, that will work together and also prevent overdoing it, because yes, you can overdo it on vitamin D. So you can be if you might be having a lot of hair fall, maybe it's just because it's winter and you think, I need to take vitamin D. So you start taking vitamin D, and this happened to me, and then your hair starts falling out even more. So you take more vitamin D, then your hair starts falling out even more. That's a sign that you're taking too much vitamin D and you need to just stop. And then start looking at getting your vitamin D through food sources, such as dairies and meats. That's where you're going to get a natural vitamin D and a natural K2. And the other thing is understanding too that a lot of your supplements are either synthesized or they're isolated. And so a lot of people, like calcium is one, you should never take calcium by itself. It should always be taken with magnesium and or potassium. However, if you eat the foods that are naturally high in calcium, such as almonds and dairy products and more, what you're going to find a lot of time is that these foods are also naturally high in magnesium and potassium, and those three work together. Although I do take supplements when I need them, I don't rely on supplements, and I'm not against supplement use, obviously, but I strongly believe in taking things in their natural form, because that's the way they were created to be consumed, so that all these nutrients are working together within the body the way they're supposed to. Because the calcium, if you're taking calcium by itself, you're more likely to have kidney stones and the like. And so you need something that's going to prevent that. But when you're getting calcium with the other nutrients in its natural food form, that's not going to happen, or the chances are very, very low that it's going to happen. And then here's the other thing too that I haven't thought to mention before, that when it comes to natural remedies, let's look specifically at if you've got external symptoms such as rashes and so on, and you're trying to cure up the rash. and you're using castor oil, and you're using shea butter, and you're using coconut oil, or maybe you're adding some essential oils to that to help heal up this rash, or even aloe vera, but you don't really even know what the rash is from, you may simply just be covering up a symptom that's trying to tell you there's something else going on, and it's most likely coming from your gut health. You can just keep putting that on and it can be very soothing and helpful, but it never gets rid of the rash. Then that should tell you there's something else going on that you need to get to the root problem of and fix that. And again, most likely it is coming from the gut, though it could be other things, or it could be something else that you're consuming too much of or shouldn't be consuming at all that's causing the rash, and all you're doing is basically by slathering more stuff on there is you're just basically putting a band-aid on it, but you're not curing the problem. So though I highly believe very strongly in herbs and other natural means of helping to heal the body, we still have to look at everything in perspective of how it's taken, what kind of allergies we may have, what kind of medications we may be on, what's going to work best for us, and listen to our bodies. Because your body is going to tell you, I cannot say this enough, your body's going to tell you if something's wrong. You need to listen to that. That's why you're having those side effects. It's very likely it has nothing to do with detox. And I just think that's a really dangerous way to look at such things. And that's why it's important for me to say this. So again, this is just a few examples of some things I wanted to throw out to get you to start thinking for yourself and really listen to your body and just do what's best for you, and don't see everything, no matter how many great properties like the castor oil or turmeric or diatomaceous earth or bentonite clay or lemon balm or mullein, or the list goes on and on and on and on, no matter how many great benefits these have. And, echinacea is another one. A lot of people can't have echinacea. Despite its many great benefits, a lot of people can't because they have ragweed allergies. And that means they can't take anything that's in the astracea family. And there's a lot, like dandelions, sunflowers, the list goes on and on, feverfew, and so much more. So you got to understand what your personal limitations are. And the reason why I do videos like a list of natural antivirals, a list of natural antibiotics, a list of natural remedies for hypertension or diabetes or cholesterol and so much more. I compile these lists because there's got to be at least one or two in there that will work for you, but it doesn't mean they all will. And if people go through there and go, oh, well, that's echinacea, no, I can't have that. Oh, can't have turmeric, or I hate turmeric, or there's other things in that list that you can find that should work for you. And that's why I think it's great that God didn't give us just one herb cure-all for everything. He gave us a whole variety of things that we can use according to our own personal needs. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Any thoughts, ideas you would like to share, please put those in comments down below. And thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.